You are listening to Within Tolerance, a podcast for machinists by a machinist. I'm your host, Dylan Jackson of Protean Machining, and this week, a very special episode. I'm joined by...
Chris Sabatini. Yeah, Zap Consultancy. Yeah, I guess it might be. And...
Simon Hanmer, Freddy Products, but I can go by whatever you...
Yeah, you know.
Chauffeur, Zap chauffeur.
Daddy, whatever works.
And it's a very special episode because you guys are in person. I unfortunately am not there, but it's very cool to see both of you in the same room.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So, I mean, I guess either one of you start, but, Chris, tell me about your trip so far. And then Simon, I'd love to hear kind of an update. I think the audience would love to hear an update on everything that's been going on in your world.
Yeah. I'll kick it off. Cool. So, Dylan, nothing's really been happening to me.
No, not at all.
Or with me at all.
Yeah, totally chill.
I think we talked literally right before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And that was fine. That was a good time. And then I think right after that, I got incredibly sad. Going back to Reno, which was very weird. And then some other, I'm not going to say that stuff. It's way too personal, but which is probably very surprising. So some other things happened which have kind of turned my life upside down in a weird way. And now I'm here, which is a very quick trip. I flew in Friday morning and I took a train. I flew into London, took a train to Bristol, stayed in Bristol. Then Saturday, I got a haircut on Friday. Everybody knows. Got some pretty mediocre Korean fried chicken, which I should have known better because I grew up in the Bay Area and I've frequent Los Angeles where you can get really good shit.
Right.
And it's probably good for Bristol, no offense, but it just wasn't that good. I'll tell you what though, I guess
don't think you've offended anyone.
Yeah. The chips, French fries, incredible. Chicken gravy, incredible. Chicken itself, big thumbs down. That was okay. But Saturday morning, before I went and got my head tattooed, there's this cafe in Bristol called Ah Toots. AHH Toots, and they had a phenomenal sausage roll, so good, beautiful. And then I got my head tattooed, and so you can see kind of I shaved my head, and obviously,
yeah,
and it's pretty sweet.
So was the plan always for line work, or are you going to get it filled in at some point? I guess describe the tattoo for those who haven't seen it. What is it?
I don't
because
even
you've
know
sent me pictures and
how
it's pretty
to
rad.
describe it. It's the style's biomechanical, and so there's spikes that kind of extend to my forehead, and then there's a skull in the background with a twinkle in its eye, and so. The plan was to do this in multiple sessions. It would be a beast. I mean, we could have done more, but I really wanted to sleep last night. And so I decided to stop. We hit a good stopping point where it's all lined out. I'm set. I'll be back. I made sure to set the appointment while I was there, February 28th. So at some point, I'll be back during that week. Haven't quite decided, do a Wednesday to a Wednesday and get the tattoo on a Friday kind of thing to have the weekend.
It kind of reminds me of, did you ever see Pitch Black in the Chronicles of Riddick?
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of the inside of the alien ships.
Oh, true. Yes. That's a very good way to describe biomechanical. Yeah. And it's cool. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it.
It looks great.
It's very bizarre to see it because I'm damn, just suits me. It works. My hair, bullshit. Tattooed head, very good. Um, uh, yeah, and then that was kind of Saturday. That was it. Went and got some pizza after that, refueled, then woke up, came to London. Or well, we're not in London now, but like I went to London, had lunch with my family, because it was like just so kind of like last minute ish. And then like, which was nice because we had lunch like right outside Paddington Station at like this boat restaurant called like Marcy Green. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
It was fucking good. Had a burger, very food centric. The people love this. And, and
No pressure on me later then.
no, you're good. And, yeah, and then just kind of like hung out at Paddington for like an hour and then took a train up to Chawbury.
Yeah, well, let's say central UK.
Yeah, central UK. And then Simon picked me up. We've been hanging out since then.
Awesome.
For a couple hours. Yeah.
Well, two things I want to touch on. One, just before you left, and this was something we touched on in the last episode with you. How was the Amish NTRX?
Dude. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess that yeah, the work side's been pretty good. The Amish NTRX was a trip. Did I send you a picture of the kid on the machine?
No.
Oh, I'll send you that picture. He doesn't have the beard, which is interesting. But so it was very fun because I got to ask like lots of questions and get lots of very interesting answers. And I don't know if I told you this, or I think I just casually mentioned it in the group chat, but like during that time I had dinner with Alex Kern and Dan Rudolph.
Yeah, you briefly mentioned it, and I meant to ask you about it, but yeah.
That was good. So the whole trip, very sweet. That was like and that's where I'm going back to next week to like finish it up. And I guess before I get into that experience, this is like my absolute favorite way to do any kind of training, which is a couple days, start cutting, get them to a point where they can actually operate the machine and then leave so that they can fuck around with it by themselves. And then I'll come back because nobody has questions when you're right there. The questions don't start until they start pushing buttons and like turning knobs and whatever. And so now I think they'll come back with like a lot of stuff. So the Amish aspect was very interesting because like the shop's nice. It's like a normal shop. They have like 5-axis YCM in there, Robo Drill, Pumas, and then these two Nakamuras. And the NTRX is probably the most, well, the turret machine's pretty gnarly, but the NTRX is really gnarly. They programmed it with Fusion into Camplete. They had that pretty much done before I got there. And we found some issues with the whack-ass Camplete code. For instance, like, I don't know what you know about lathe stuff, but like the G98 versus G99, which is G98 inches per minute, G99 inch per rev. And so they programmed in Fusion inch per minute. And when it went into Camplete, they wanted it to be inch per rev. And so it gave them the G99, but it didn't change the feed rate. So it was like, we caught it because it would have been a crash.
Yeah.
Where it was like G99, 2200 RPM and 17.6 inches per rev,
right,
which is crazy fast.
Yeah, you would have been threading with whatever tool you tried to put through there.
And it was an 1.7/16" drill. It would have just punched it, boom, really fast. And yeah, but so I got to ask, I was like, so what's the deal? Because the kid doesn't have a beard, there's another guy that doesn't have a beard. I'm like, so what's that all about? And he's like, well, we're not married, so we can't, or they can't have a beard, but like they can, but they're like rebellious if you're single with a beard, apparently. And then I found this out from Dan, which was like, what level of Amish are we dealing with? Like, do they have a phone in the shop? Because I guess there's like various levels to what is what. They have a phone in the shop. The kid has a flip phone, and which was like another interesting conversation because there's the gray areas, and so I asked the guy that owns the company, like, who has a pager, like, why do you have a pager and he has a flip phone? And he's like, oh well, he's still sowing his wild oats, which was a wild thing to hear because it's like that's not what I think of when I think of sowing your wild oats. And I did ask him, I'm like, so like premarital sex, thumbs up, thumbs down, and he's like, no. He's like, we want them to get married, so premarital sex isn't allowed because if they're fucking, then they're probably not going to get married,
Right.
you know. But the way that he described it was like at every level, like there's different like stages of being like Amish, or like milestones rather, where like when you turn like 16, you join the church and you kind of like pull back. And then when you get married, you pull back. So like the assumption is this kid will give up his cell phone when he gets married or something. And then there's like some other milestone, and it was very bizarre. I gave him like a ride home on the last night because we were there till like, we're at the shop till like 9:30, 10, just to make sure that the part transfer was working, because we went through the main side, and as long as we got through the sub side, they can kind of, or like the transfer, then they could fuck around with the rest of it, you know. Then it's kind of fairly trivial. And yeah, and like it's very interesting to like pull up to this very nice house with electricity, and then parked in the garage is their buggy. And like all day outside the shop, you just see horse and buggies flying up and down the street with like, the funniest one was like this buggy was flying, and in the back was like a calf in a cage, you know. It's just
wow.
like in like a little covered section, and you're like, that's funny. That's
Do you
cool.
think they race slips or
Yeah.
quarter mile?
And dude, you would not believe the amount. I mean, I guess you could imagine, like, this is a very rural area, so like the horse and buggies just fuck traffic up like incredibly, because they can't really like go too far off the road. So they're just like there until you can pass around them. And yeah, when it's raining and wet. And the buggies are funny because like they have lights and like turn signals.
Right.
It's just so interesting.
Yeah, it's been really funny hearing all the things that you've told me about it, because I think that, you know, especially on the West Coast, we just don't have that. So like I have no interaction with the Amish. All I have is what I've seen on, you know, TV shows and stuff. And so it's like, oh, is their shop powered by like a horse on a hamster wheel? Is there, you know, like how do you get three-phase? Those kind of things.
Right. And so I guess there are some shops, like Dan was talking about, I believe it's a shop that he works with or knows of, that they buy machines and they replace the I'm speaking for him, so I'm probably fucking this up, but essentially they replace electric motors with hydraulic motors and just run the whole thing off like a diesel generator and a hydraulic pump so that there's no electricity. I mean, which is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
There is,
but there's less.
Area.
Like
yeah, there's gray area there. Well, I mean, but is there? Because like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the generator makes electricity. Something's got to power the hydraulic pump.
Yeah. Shh.
Just how far removed it is, I guess, from the machinery is important.
Yeah. So outside of that, had a really another successful trip at the knife company. I had a really successful weekend with Kevin at Solar Tools, who I think he's buying a building, or he did buy a building, which is cool, which is crazy that I started working with him 2 years ago, right after we had met.
Yep.
I went to his garage and we started fucking around on his mini mill, and then he bought a VF2 with a robot, and now he's buying a building, which is fun. That's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then part of being in Pennsylvania, I fucked up my hotel. Cause I just go to the Hilton app and I type in the town and I pick a hotel that's closest. And this time it never fails me, but this time it failed me. And I realized why, talking with somebody else, because the Amish shop is in Paradise, but there's a Paradise township like an hour away, and it put me close to that, and that fucked me up. But it didn't fuck me up. Like, the commute sucked, but it put me 5 minutes away from one of my biggest customers.
Oh,
so I was
sweet.
able to so I was able to go there in the morning and knock some things out, and then go to the Amish shop right after that, and we got everything done. And that was cool. And this is a good story, and a good kind of process can cure all, or help anyway. Is when we first started working with them, they had zero capacity, negative capacity on their pallet system, on their Haberly. And we just kept and then we were putting parts on it, and then we needed to do some new parts, and figured out a way to do it in a single operation instead of 2 operations. And then we're able to do that for very similar parts, and we cut the cycle time in half and took an operation out. So that was good. And we went from negative capacity to positive, actual having capacity over the course of a couple months. It was a lot of work, a ton of work to get there, but it's this is something that we talk about a lot, which is if you just focus, because they were threatening to buy another machine, which everybody wants another machine, but we didn't have to. We just worked on the process, and they paid me a lot of money, but less than fucking $500,000, and so it worked out. And it's
that's killer.
But it's work, It's buying the machine is the easy button, but it's also do you have to? No, just fucking do the work.
Right. Well, it means now that if they bought another one, they'd know the real capacity of the machine versus just oh, okay, every couple of years we got to buy another one because we can't figure it out.
Yep. And I think that's about it.
All right.
For now.
That takes us to now.
Yeah, I leave in the morning.
That is a quick trip for sure.
It was very quick. It was quicker than I thought it was. Yeah.
Well, when you said today, you were like, I'm with Simon, let's record. I was like, oh, right. Yeah. You're not there for very long. I was like, we'll do it sometime next week,
Yeah.
So Simon, give us the update. I think a few things you had mentioned last time. You had just installed solar, but it had not been sunny enough to show any benefit.
Yeah. Well, I can come to that. I suppose I was just going to link up and sort of explain the Zap thing. So,
oh yeah, please.
I just so it's fine for your audience. I got a message to say it was in Pennsylvania, in an Amish situation, which I'm old, so I suddenly thought Kingpin and Randy Quaid and Woody Harrelson. So it conjured up all sorts of images. So I was like, yeah, how's that working out? Like you've just surmised. And he said, hey, I'm going to be over with family in London. So what the audience don't know, he's been over quite a few times now. We just tend to just have a few drinks or go and get a bite to eat somewhere. Helps temper the mind when things are up and down. So we can sort him out and look after him over here. So he said, I'm in London. So I've just been watching the airwaves to see. I honestly thought with what he sent me yesterday that his head would be about 5 times bigger with swelling.
Yeah, same. I mean, for the audience who can't see him, he's wearing headphones, like with a head strap, and I'm shocked that you're able to do that.
I wear a hat. I wear a hat all day. Like, it's totally fine. It is. People have asked me, like, what's the pain level? I'm like, it was like a 5 or a 6, maybe. Like, one of the most chill tattoos I've ever had. Very bizarre. That, like, the stuff that we thought was going to be bad wasn't so bad. Like, the top of my head, like, back here, nothing. Like, legit is just vibration. And, yeah, it's like, we're like, this is fucking nothing. Even the tattoo artist, Adam, he was like, this is fucking crazy.
I thought he'd want painkillers. I mean, when he got off the train, I thought, wow, that's RoboCop right there.
Yeah.
He looks mean now. Yeah. He's gonna get even more money out of his clients, I think. Yeah. But so I went and picked him up from the train, and then we thought, well, we'll just have some food and drink, and then he drops it, hey, would you like to record? So that's the situation I find myself in now. Obviously, I'm quite happy to crash a cust, that's fun. Be part of it rather than just the listener. So, you referred to, I suppose one of the last things we were doing was solar, or I think I'd put some questions out. So since then, we've done 3 lots, and we've just got, we've been granted permission to do a 4th. You'd like to do it in one go, but you have to tiptoe it. So I guess you don't burn out the entire network in the local area. But I'm somewhat addicted now. It just seems to make sense to try and go almost not reliant on the grid. There's times sure in the winter where we do, but we've got to a point where we're actually selling it to a neighbor. Not in a grand way where it's making a fortune, but it's helping them out a lot. So our immediate neighbor on the trading estate are coming to us, and we've helped them put a car charger in. So it just seems a nice thing to do. Yeah. And helps them because obviously energy prices over here soared for a while, and sure. So we've got a surplus. We get nothing for it, so why not give them a bit of a benefit?
Amazing. That's super cool.
Best guy ever over here.
Yeah. How's everything else been going? You guys, the other thing I do want to touch on, but I want to hear more of a general update, but I also want to touch on your trip you did that we were talking about, because I thought that was a pretty amazing thing you did for your European distributors, and it just sounded so cool.
Oh yeah, because we were having a little chat. So we've got a great guy over there, Fabian, German guy. It makes sense for us to distribute from a central point now in Europe because it just breaks down borders. So we thought it might be an idea to do like a little road show rather than being at IMTS or AMB or something like that. Maybe take the Freddy showroom to a central point and then get people to come over. So I think, had I sent you a couple of pictures or something, Dylan? I think it was maybe a picture of Budapest or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was referring to, because it looked gorgeous, and you were saying how it's kind of a not a hidden gem, but that, for what it is and for the cost, it's an amazing place to visit.
I think I could live there. I mean, it was just incredible. I didn't want to ruin it by having too many drinks of an evening or too much food, and I just took the opportunity with a pair of trainers shorts to get up really early and do my sightseeing whilst trying to run around the city. But I'm sure many people listening know they've been, but it's just staggering, beautiful, clean, just incredible place. And yeah, when you're sort of getting a beer and food for a fraction of what you're used to paying, you just think, right, I need to go back. Maybe that could be the next Zap tour.
Oh shit!
We go when you come
Hungary.
for a week. We'll pop over there for a couple of days,
Fuck.
maybe. But
That sounds pretty dope.
so we did. We just got the countries: Hungary, Poland, Austria, Slovenia, Germany, of course, into a central point, and it was quite nice just to have some fun and show them the product proper hands-on rather than brochures or showing them something on media. We could actually have a play and try and break down barriers. It's interesting with all the different languages to try and teach and get it across.
Right.
But we had a bit of fun. We had a little Freddy challenge. It was, people tend to gather in their own countries. So you sort of got Slovenia in one corner. So how do you break that up? How do we get them to interact with each other? And if you do it in pairs, then suddenly you realize that Poland's got to go with somebody from Slovenia or Germany. And it was take a Freddy, you've got to fill the Freddy and empty it in the quickest time, like a pit stop challenge.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
We had some coolant in a tote. You have to into the Freddy, switch over the valve as quickly as possible and dump it out. You could see everybody's like a bit nervous, or I don't know where I want to do this. But it's if you've listened to the teaching, then you're going to be okay.
Right.
So there's two, myself and one other that had gone over from UK. So we, in theory, should know what we're doing. So we said, look, tell you what, we'll go first. You watch us. And this is what you're supposed to do. So I've decided with my buddy, John, you're going to do that bit. I'm going to do this bit. That's our operation. And I did a bit of slapstick comedy. So he's holding the hose to do suction, but he's also going to have the hose for discharge.
Ah.
And just at the point of discharge, for those that have got a unit, I look at the audience, give them a little wink, and I actually open the valve a little bit so that when we pressurize the tank, it coughed out of both hoses. A good shop accident, but it just broke everybody down with laughter.
Right.
And we don't want to win it.
Right.
We don't want the fastest time. We need to.
Yeah.
It was quite good. That at that point, then everybody got involved. It was a bit of fun. There was something to clear off up the floor, and it was won by the Slovenians in the end.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, did you this is with the whole Poland thing and it being in Hungary, did the conflict over there come into play at all?
I didn't see any conflict. Even with alcohol, it stayed very civil. I don't think there's any.
Okay, cool.
There's no. You wondered if we had like a little bit of a.
No, I mean like
contretemps.
like the stuff that's happening like in Ukraine and Poland,
I see.
if that came into if that was discussed or anything.
I think we're sufficient. What, like a rogue missile just missing Ukraine and landing on us?
Yeah.
I did say to my wife, I might not come back. She seemed pretty happy. But no, I think we're fairly safe going over there. I don't think they drop anything on us.
Cool.
But no.
Yeah, you're here now, so
Yeah,
it
all worked out.
Yeah, Zap taxi. Yeah, Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like an awesome trip, and the pictures you sent me definitely made me want to go check it out at some point.
If I would wholeheartedly recommend. I'm not going to say hidden gem, but it's what a place to go.
Right.
Definitely. Well, and then give us the update on, Freddy in general. How have things been going? It seems like you've been turning out a bunch of new custom ones, and you guys have just been busier than ever, it looks like.
I would say, truthfully, I think when we last spoke, we had quite a large military order that we had to do, which was 12 months' work just dumped on us extra. So I was just talking to Zap before this, actually, how do you cope with that? How do you turn up to build the business to deal with it when you know that potentially that might come to an end? And then I've never got rid of anybody. I don't want to. So that was nice. But I was also saying I don't want us to be that sort of general common thing that you can just get from anywhere. And as you've just alluded to, the specials, that seems to be the thing now. That's our sort of niche, which is driven by the customer, not us. So it's made the job incredibly fun, challenging sometimes when you're trying to interpret somebody's view of
Right.
what something is, especially me being old and somebody comes up with I'm going to call it a kid's TV program that I don't know about, that's only shown in the States, or
Yeah. Give me a bluey one.
yeah. And it's like, oh, what? I don't want to mishear that, but you know,
Yeah.
what is that, and how do you then put
Yeah.
that onto a cylinder somehow?
Right. Because the minion, that works. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and like Buzz Lightyear and like the R2D2, that's perfect. But like a dog, kind of wild.
So somebody's mentioned a dog recently in Australia, like could they put their dog's face on it? And I'm like, of course you can. But I'm like, I really don't want to let them down with getting it wrong. But at least we do artwork and we ping it backwards and forwards. But there's all sorts of things, like you mentioned R2D2, but there was another droid, which is a guy called Matt Rez. But I had to look that up because I didn't know what it was. So I feel a bit sort of stupid then. You get a lot of machine tool builders. We had a customer wanting to do GF, and he made GF give the colors, because a lot of the time the machinery manufacturer won't actually say what the paint code is, or won't let the stickers be passed to you. But he bought enough GF that they were very helpful, so shout out to them. That was really cool to do.
He's balling out of control then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kept quiet on it. The most we've done this year, I suppose, was Rolls-Royce, where they came and wanted some spill control units. They decided that they didn't want to use absorbents, because what they were doing is throwing these big foam snakes on the floor and mats to soak up the spills that they were having. They're just filling the places with sustainability engineers to make lean improvements. So they've decided that throwing all this mat on the floor is not a good idea, because you pick it up, you throw it in a waste bin, and that's your problem over, you would think. But of course, it sits in that waste bin and it just slowly falls out of the mat into the bin. When somebody comes to empty it, it's tipped all over the floor. And then you have an environmental problem.
Right.
So can we borrow a unit to prove out maybe we could just have this like a fire extinguisher type scenario of an emergency response at the end of each aisle? Yeah, of course you can borrow one. So they borrow one. Yeah, we need 14 of these.
Fuck.
In this one facility. Okay, no problem. But we want 14 customs.
Oh.
So okay.
Ecovacs or the
little unit, the micro, like Dylan's got. So okay. Well, like what? Oh, well, we're going to ask the staff. We're going to get them to come up and see if they can come up with the design, and we'll pick the most popular. So there was Minions. We haven't released it yet, but they've gone for you guys know what a Mustang is in terms of a warbird plane.
Oh yeah.
Like Tom Cruise flies in Top Gun.
Yeah. Yep.
So I didn't realize Rolls-Royce have their own Mustang. Their very own. They also have our equivalent, which is called a Spitfire.
Right.
So we've had to match those two planes with all the code, stickers, colors, everything.
No way.
That's
so that hasn't actually appeared on it. There's a bit of an exclusive for you.
Yeah.
Because you also did the one where it's the cutaway to the jet engine too for them, right? I'm looking on your Instagram and seeing that one.
Yeah, so that's a Trent. I think it's a Trent 97. This guy says one of the options is, could we put our engine on the side of Freddy? Honestly, I didn't think it would work. So they give all the proper CAD file, everything for this to us.
That's nuts. That's insane.
I'm thinking, how does this guy have the power to pass that to us?
Right.
To do this design? We ping it back. Yeah, we like that. The bit that a friend of mine, Tom, adds to it, which I thought was genius, was this sort of melted, it looked like it was sort of burning on the side of so it was bursting through the side.
Yeah.
part of me thought, is that detrimental? Is this showing like the engine's failing?
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe the interaction on it. I didn't think it was going to be the noisiest thing that we had done. You know, like a minion is fun. Everybody knows what that is. But
Yeah.
but it was like everybody on the thing looking at it.
Oh, it's
So
amazing. It looks fantastic. And I love the little orange bits because it's very Freddy. You know, you still got your color in there a little bit. And
yeah. But all of that driven, I didn't play a part in that. That's them, the customer, deciding what they want to do. So that's pretty much the day-to-day for us now. Where it used to be maybe one or two things a month, it's sort of sliding towards a 50-50 scenario of
that's cool.
orange to the bespoke. And Zap and I were talking in the kitchen earlier, that's kind of what I like. I don't have any desire to fire out orange Freds in every store in every land because it ruins what we're all about.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we can make something that isn't anywhere else. It's just a bit unusual and unique and fun, and it motivates me every day when some design comes out, like a Trent engine or a Mustang. It's cool.
It also helps that the product is phenomenal, you know. So it just like takes this thing that's already like top of its class and takes it to the next level.
Hey, it still works even at 50% capacity when you've got a kinked hose.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what you could be talking about.
And you're getting pulled up by a previous guest who's actually come to your shop to clean up.
Yeah.
But, rather than being put in a corner not working. But yeah, I mean, it's same old. There's I haven't got as many exciting stories probably as Zap has, but it's I think this year has just been like Zap. I've had my ups and downs with various things, but I think we're very much back on it. And the custom and that is the source that just keeps you smiling and having fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, how has that changed your workflow? Like what things have you had to put into place? Because I imagine painting everything orange and sending it out, it gets you a really nice, easy workflow. And now you're involving creative and having to go back and forth with the customer and make sure that they like what the creative made. And, you know, do you have to package it differently? Things like that. Like what changes has that new 50% made to Freddy?
I'll give you credit for this and the guests that you have that move my brain to think constantly about how I can make improvements. You know, you refer to Justin that you had on. He makes your brain ache in a good way. There's other people out there that Austere. There's people that you can look at for these lean improvements. The man I'm sitting by now who can do things in less moves. It's interesting. We've had to, I was describing it to Zap. There's a game, I might have alluded to it on the last podcast, so I don't want to sound like some old guy that's just going over and over.
But
But
it's been like 2 years. So
you've got this kids game, which is a 9-square tile device, but there's only 8 tiles in it, and you're constantly moving tiles. Well, Freddy, for a while we were doing that, and you're just thinking, I'm spending too much time moving things. We need some more room. So we got lucky with our next door neighbor where we've been able to sort of utilize some space to improve. So that's helped. But as you say, with the doing custom, you've got to think a lot more. It's maybe I could refer to another person that keeps cropping up. So IMTS, there was a competition to win a Freddy, which we did because I didn't attend. So I thought it might be quite good to put the spotlight on a guy that does so well at Sanborn called Larry. Culminated in somebody winning, which we thought we would do. How do we do a draw? I'm sure people have seen it's quite funny. The balls go everywhere and it's just, but he did it very fairly, and it was won by somebody that I'm sure everybody knows as Iron Man, Tuck's Garage.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So that was particularly challenging because I think we've had maybe 10 or 11 goes at tweaking backwards and forwards. But the beauty of him is everything is, I don't think that lad sleeps. So
No.
It helps when
Well,
there's a 6 or a 5 hour time difference too. I know Zap
Well,
texted me this morning at like 2 a.m. and then I woke up to a text
Yeah.
from him and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I can get business done.
Yeah.
but he's robot powered anyway, so you must have something that keeps him going. So
Yeah.
I mean, that is interesting because if you're just painting orange, I can just do it and I can fire it out the door. I don't have to think about it. But it's right. This is dark red now, and it's got some gold on. Is that good enough?
Mhm.
What do you think, Tuck? No. Could we change the? Maybe we could do this. Okay, and then you fire it back. Yeah, that's good. But actually, could we do? And this is what I love. It's we're not. There's nothing wrong with McDonald's to go and get a burger and fries. But I don't want to be McDonald's. I want to be that where, how do you want the burger cooked? How do you like your fries?
Right.
I like that challenge that it's progress. It stimulates me to want to do better and make sure that I absolutely nail it for Tuck. So when that turns up, he's nothing but smiley, and it gives him that lift. And then every time he goes into the shop and he sees that, it's just something that if he's having a crap day, it might make him smile if I've got the stickers right.
How does that work with production? Do you build one specifically for his order and set it aside until the creative is done? Or do you just keep making Freddy's and then whenever the creative is done, you're like, all right, next one off the line is going to be Tuck's?
So let's say 5 years ago, everything was orange, with occasionally once or twice a year, a blue or a black creeps in. That's easy. Now, there's so many scenarios where you have to make, say on a production run of the machine that you have, say you made 10 or 20 of them, you always want to hold 3 back in bare metal, just in case, whoever it may be, Zap Engineering wants something, then we can just paint it and just eliminate that production time of a day or 2 days, and it can go straight to paint on the color he wants. We try and build up things where we haven't quite got the voltage chosen or the amount of motors on, again, to try and eliminate time. I never like running down one avenue, like, as we say, getting stuck in a rabbit hole. I might overthink and you might think it's too much time, but I always like 3 scenarios or 4 scenarios for something. I know people look at me and think you're just being too busy, just slow down, but it means you can always get out of a problem. You've got options.
I like this.
You know, like in a field game, whether it's American football or we call it soccer, you don't want one pass.
Yeah.
You want to play it with different moves.
Right.
Never get trapped with the ball. So, I don't want to have made everything in orange and then suddenly Dylan says, "Oh, I want a pink one or a red one or we can do it." So we've had to change a few things, and the space has given us that. So you can guess some of the colors, but I generally just keep bare metal now and orange.
Nice. That's cool. So it's like semi just in time manufacturing, so to speak.
So maybe, orange, almost just in time.
Yeah.
And lots of things so you can just bolt it together very fast.
So are you doing that as a percentage or just kind of a gut check of like, let's do 3 from this run and we'll keep those in bare metal?
This is going to probably sound really bad to someone who knows what they're doing, but it's done on gut. I mean, I probably don't sleep enough, but you're talking to the guys that get up, I'm not going to say first, but let's say Asia, and then as the sun comes across, you just get a feedback from your friends and distributors as to what you might need to keep or do. And you're all the time overanalyzing, trying to work out what you might want. Just in time would be the perfect scenario, but it doesn't. You never know what hard. The gods are going to deliver, so you have to mitigate some of these problems.
Mm-hmm.
How long does something like a micro or a micro plus take from raw materials to be a bare metal, Fred?
That's a good question. I'd like it done in a to get it from, say, flat sheet to finish so it could go to paint, about a day.
That's fast.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's way faster. than I
Two
thought you were
guys,
gonna
so you've
say.
got one in the prep kitchen doing the sort of rolling, forming, bending, and then feeding his mate to then weld. Which, when we started, you were trying to do things with measuring tapes, and
Right.
which is nice having a little bit of each thing is unique and hand built. But now you can do stuff with etch lines, and
Yeah.
you can take out those problems to make it faster. But yeah, generally about a day.
How long did it take to get to that point from when you took over?
Well, honestly, when I took over, we weren't actually putting everything together. The business had been run down, so it was actually being subbed to a neighbor. So they were
No
doing
shit.
a lot of it. So
Yeah.
I pulled it all back
Mhm.
in-house so that we had control of it and that we were doing it.
So you built it up from scratch and then got it down to a day.
Yeah, so they've gone, 1960s they've started and they've done it. I guess they've run it down to a point, for whatever reason, I don't know,
Yeah.
to a point where it's then been subbed out, and we've had to sort of wrestle it back. And a friend of mine fortunately helped me out there because he's 3D modeling, scanning, CT for stuff that I didn't have drawings for. We've been able to reverse engineer
Cool.
and get our IP sort of back. But yeah, then it's just a case of finessing, like everybody does with your guests. They start with something, and as you do, how can we make that faster, easier, jigs, etch lines, to not push massive production, but just keep up with the demand as people have learned about the product.
Yeah, and you're over here like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But then you've engineered this process over, I mean, like, and maybe you weren't like physically doing it, but you made it happen.
But they're just fires, aren't they?
Yeah.
In your language, I can't talk your language. You're far too clever in what you do. Mine's more, it's simple. There's a fire. How do we put that out? How do we learn from that? How do we do it?
This is the goal, right?
Yeah.
The bottlenecks. You find the bottleneck, you alleviate the bottleneck.
It is a stream with twigs in. We're just going to take that twig or branch and keep the flow. Watch for turbulence. If there's any turbulence, remove it. You want a nice flow always. No whirlpools, no swirls, no friction.
Damn. This is banger.
Yeah,
banger
that's
episode.
amazing. So I do want to ask, and you don't have to be super specific, but what does, coming to the Freddy custom house cost in addition to a normal, and again, I'm not looking for a dollar and cents number, but are we talking 20%? Are we talking, 200% on a micro? Like, because I know that a lot of people listening to this are, car guys or whatever, and we all know what a custom build can cost in that world. So
yeah, I think we know that in some scenarios it's very easy to double the price of a car if you go to somewhere in Germany or Italy. Honestly, I think you could put that out to all people that have got them, and I'm confident in saying that there isn't a single person in the world with any custom Freddy that has paid anything more than the standard price. I've just shot myself in the foot there, haven't I?
Maybe.
we're not holding you to anything, but
Yeah.
at least for now,
I mean,
that's pretty amazing.
The likelihood.
No, so truthfully, if I just took two US, I'm not picking on them for any other reason, but they're very memorable to do. So the Droid R5, I can't think of its actual term, but it's not R2D2, it's the black version of
the black one.
And then there's Bender, as in Futurama, that we did. Both of those, if they message in, they could obviously say Simon's lying, but no, we didn't. We didn't ask. The truth is, yes, in some cases the paint will cost more if it isn't on the shelf. But my view is we might use that color further down the line, so it doesn't seem right to say to somebody, you need to pay this percentage. Yes, graphics cost something, but what is everybody's going to be falling off their chair now is it's what that does for my own mental health doing something custom gives me something out of it. It just makes me happy. And the measure of that and what it does for everybody else is, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
So if we can cut a few graphics and put that on, it's not astronomical, but I haven't charged anybody for doing it.
All right, so we're going to cut all of that, and you're going to say it's 15% more expensive. That's amazing. That really is pretty fantastic.
No, so I'm not going to do it. If somebody suddenly says that paint is $10,000, then yeah, sure.
Right.
But I haven't, in the same way as we haven't done anything inflationary on price, because there's so much in industry where it's put blame on war or supply chain issues. Well, we don't have any supply chain issues because we've mitigated all of that by keeping it within 20 minutes or less. So I'm not going to turn around and say, Zap, your machine's more because I can't get the bits.
Yeah.
So I haven't got anything there to...
Yeah. You have a very aspirational view of, and how you run your business is very aspirational. That's good.
It's fun. And as I've said to you today, is like you want to come home each day and walk in through the door without your head banging.
Right.
You want to be smiling.
Don't know what that feels like.
We're going to get him there. We can't do alcohol, but we're going to get him there with these therapy UK trips.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're good.
There you go. That is amazing. No, like Chris said, I think that's really aspirational and amazing. You know, that's up there with like the great CEOs that like everybody points to as like, oh, the Costco
Jack
CEO,
Welch, Elon Musk,
the Costco guy, the Arizona iced tea guy, who's just like, well, we own everything. Why would we charge more than 99 cents? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's it really is aspirational and amazing.
I've only done it once where I had to charge for paint in my entire tenure, and that was because I fell off my chair. So I didn't have to sign anything. Aston Martin asked me for a particular green, and it didn't exist. It just wasn't like a RAL color. So I had to ask for the thing to be mixed or how much it would cost, and it came back. I thought, oh. So I thought the fairest way to do this would just be to take that actual quote and give it to them, rather than it's got Simon tax on it, and say, look, guys, this is what it's come back with. And they went, that's fine. So I was like, okay.
Even when you had to charge more, you were very transparent about it.
I think, again, because it just means it's a normal Freddy.
Right.
We're just painting it green. So if they're happy to take out my only problem, which was the cost of this paint, which was about 5 times a normal box of powder.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And they dealt with it, then it removed the problem for me.
Yeah.
And it looked quite cool when it was done.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
Even though we've now burnt it and changed it to its third color, because teams change color quite a lot.
Oh, no.
That's wild.
It was pink, then it went green, it's now grey.
Whoa, grey.
Same machine. But yeah, no, so hopefully that's not going to really piss off all my distributors and friends now that I've just said that. But
yeah, they're like, oh, fuck.
Well, listen, I mean, I think that, even if you did charge more, I think you would do it in a way that we would all respect. Like I said, I 15%, 20% would have been the low end of what I would have expected you to say. And so to say nothing is insane.
No, it is. So Matt Rez didn't pay anything for his R5.
No.
The guy at Headbender, he didn't pay. And all the others that have been, that's what we do. So, and it would be transparent if it was unusual. Mm-hmm.
Do your employees enjoy it as much as you do?
That's a good question. We'd have to put it. I think there's a lot of fun when something comes back and you wheel a purple minion in through the door.
Yeah.
Or A-Team was quite good when we did that, which again, I'm old. a customer asks for the A-Team van. So B.A. Baracus, you remember he had this black GMC
Yes.
with a red stripe up the side of it?
Uh-huh.
And somebody wants a Bowser. So we had to make up a load of empty cardboard boxes. And then we put a guy on top of this Bowser with another one pushing him so we could charge through the boxes to look like a really bad A-Team stunt.
That's incredible.
Pretend Colonel Decker was around the corner about to get us, sort of thing. But
chef's kiss.
Yeah, I think there's fun in it. But as I said last time when we were on, the guys, we're very relaxed in how we work. So you might find if Dylan, you were visiting tomorrow, there may be some Freddy action, but likewise there might be somebody welding a motorcycle or doing something on a car, or if we can get the machine out by the end of the day, that's fine. If they finish it by lunchtime and then they start welding something else, that's fine. They're not on the clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've said it multiple times that for what, like the volume of product that you produce, the size of your operation, and how much freedom you guys have is very impressive.
It's so that we're not, like you and I were talking earlier about, you don't want to bounce your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You want to work, you don't want to be top revs, top gear, fifth, sixth, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
You want, some lean people will be going, well, you need to be at maximum operational. Well, I don't like to be at that. I would prefer to be in third with a comfortable, economical cruise, getting the best miles per gallon, miles per litre, whatever the audience knows, and then know that I could pick it up with a different feed and speed if we needed to, or without stressing the whole thing and breaking anything.
Yeah. I liked your analogy of the band and stretching the band.
With drinks mats.
Huh?
With drinks mats.
Yeah.
Shall I let you explain that then?
Which one? The drinks mats.
Is that what you meant, the band?
Yeah. No, you should explain that.
No, because they're going to laugh at me.
No one's going to laugh
at
at you.
See how you get on.
But okay, I'll do my best.
Or shall I help?
Yeah, so we're going to tag team this analogy, but essentially, like the way he was talking about running, and how he had two coasters that were far apart, and essentially it's like starting the week at 100%, and as the week goes on and as time goes on, they start to pull together. So like your max capacity is no longer 100%, and you're more susceptible to like an errant phone call or like a customer in your ear, and then doing things, in his case, was running to kind of like stretch yourself past 100%, like 120. So then when you equalize, you go back to 100. And that's fascinating. And I was kind of made me think of, especially with him, with talking about running, is this book that's kind of come up over and over again, called The Body Keeps the Score. And it's about how like you can like stress and like trauma and grief or whatever can be like internalized and like muscle memory. And you can like work that out of yourself and like get your capacity back. It's very interesting. This guy just does it intuitively.
We do it differently. You said, if I can say, it's a therapy.
Yeah.
And I like to smash myself to pieces to give me back those 100 units or 110 units so that I can tolerate a 10-year-old or a 6-year-old a little bit better, or or an employee.
Right.
But it gives you back that capacity. So it's like kneading dough, manipulation to smash it up and work it a bit to give you back. That's how it feels. So unfortunately, the audience can't see, but I was using coasters on my kitchen table with Zap. He came up with a much better answer of a book reference, which I couldn't do. I had to do it with coasters.
It works. It works.
But it works for different people, isn't it? You've just got to find your groove.
Yeah, and hopefully, and it's not campy work. That's a big one,
right?
Because I smash myself into bits with work, but that doesn't help anything.
Yeah, well, I think that's just like such a a view that I think so many of us need to hear and so many of us
Right.
need to try to get to, because yeah, like Zap says, we very often just grind ourselves into pieces, and then the next week we start over with the same pieces
Less.
and they're not whole
Yep.
again, and you're just
Yep.
dust by the end of the month or the year. So
Yeah, and you're reaching for something that just doesn't exist. Like, and yeah, there's no more gears left.
No.
You're toast.
right, exactly.
No, so I had to come up with that crap analogy to
No, that was
Just
just
fantastic.
say, how do you get back your 100 units, that window to allow you then to take on
yeah.
the
I'm
extra if you
curious
can?
what Justin, because Justin's very physical too. Justin Gray.
Yeah, he rides his bike a ton.
Yeah, that if he feels the same way, kind of curious.
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah,
Yeah, he inspired me last time listening. He was like, right, I need to do more. I need to chop a few seconds out of this, and
Mhm.
I need to do more lists and write things to streamline family life.
yeah.
Well, we have a great question from the Patreon, David Ron. Oh, it's a few questions. First up, favorite holiday treat from all you guys?
Ooh, I really like a good gingerbread cookie.
Okay.
Does holiday treat, because that's different terminology, does that mean as in festive, or do you mean as in
Oh, that's
you've gone away for holiday?
Fantastic question. I think in this case,
I think you
it's
meant
holiday
festive,
as in like festive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you can interpret it however you want.
Okay, because I nearly said something else. So holiday treat. So for us, it's something called a
Bonkers.
mince pie. So
Yeah.
it's like you'll get one after this. We've got a ton of them.
Okay.
So yeah, mince pie. It's a sweet. It's really good.
Oh, it's sweet. For
I
some
was thinking
reason, I
mincemeat
thought,
pie.
right.
No,
when
it's
I
like-
think mince pie,
It's
I
a
thought it was
filling.
like
So it's a pie like you'd think, but inside it's sweet, and it's usually slightly laced with not a lot of alcohol, but it's got
Yeah.
various things in. But it's mince pie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think. I like eggnog. Like I only drink it
Okay.
for like a week a year, and like a glass or two will do me, but I do like a good eggnog.
Nice. Good call. Do you have
And
that here? You never had that?
I've never had that. No, I've
No.
heard the term, but it just as soon as you say egg,
Yeah.
it
Maybe-
doesn't taste like egg at all.
Yeah, you know
Don't
what's
worry.
fascinating? I looked this up. It originated here in the UK.
oh, okay, no,
Yeah.
I've missed out there.
Wow.
I wouldn't have thought it was
Investigation.
a American invention. That's for sure. It feels
Yeah.
very like it goes with
British.
all of those British foods and stuff, like holiday
It
traditions.
sounds to me like all the sort of stages up until the point that you're about to pour it on the pan to make an omelette, the eggnog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, no,
We'll have to find a way to send you some eggnog then. His other more serious question was, what is a leadership quality you all want to work on in the coming year?
Wow.
I guess for me, it's making myself less important. That's where I'm at, is I'm way too critical to the business at the moment, and I have no systems in place, so like it's hard to do, like, pass things off or whatever, like yeah, so it's too much in my head, and making myself less important.
that's a brilliant answer, because that's what I was going to say. I'm not copying
Oh,
you,
sure.
but yeah, I'd like to mitigate some of the things that I do, so I'm not as important. So
Yeah.
anybody that wants to take me out, shoot me. That's a weakness but I'd like to, just back off.
And just focus
Not
on
as
the
in I
customs.
don't want to do less work, but
Yeah.
exactly
just
the same.
Shift your focus.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
what- like for me, like I'm buying that machine. Oh, that was one thing. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, like I was in the process of buying that machine. We got approved. We're buying that machine. And I want to be able to focus on like making that a better part of the company and not traveling as much. So That just means what we do is different.
See, that's a good one. That was one of the things that I wanted to do a lot less of, which I've managed to mitigate that out, is travel. So I don't do travel because people could watch videos now of how the machines work, so I don't drive. My only drive is to and from the premise, but I'd like the capacity and that elastic band to be able to come into your world and learn so that I can and help, as you know, Junior, and see if I can understand what the hell fusion is, and maybe I might be able to print something other than a piece of burnt plastic.
yeah. Fusion's an incredibly easy software.
It is for you two, but it's not for me. But if I could come out of what I'm doing and just not as in retire, but I mean, so I'm same answer.
Well, you've got
David.
2 people on this call that are more than happy to sit down with you and help you teach you fusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
And Matt. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
but he's very busy also.
So I kind of hate that I'm going to do this, but I was thinking very much along the same lines as you. I was going to phrase it as learn to delegate better, but
right.
Like, and that's been my focus most of this year as well. But like, I know we're going to hire some people next year, probably not for machining until much later in the year, if not the following year, but packaging, shipping and receiving. We're already having someone part-time start doing all of our invoicing and AP stuff, because I just can't keep doing that. It's insane that I still am, and I just need to not be doing that stuff. So yeah,
you can't be going to an airport backwards and forwards. You got told off for that, so they've got to come to you, and then you've got to have some Andrew Henry style packaging systems in place. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, there's a Raspberry Pi project that I wanted to put together to help us with packaging for a while, and so maybe that'll be my extracurricular, get back to past the 100% thing. But we'll see. I guess that's maybe a little too much work to do that. But
it's a procrastination project.
Yes. Oh man, I'm so good at those.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone's going to visit and make him another list and ask him to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time I come down, I'll just make the gnarliest lift ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Do it. We learned so much, and so many of the things that Justin gave us and Ethan gave us, we've implemented, and it's helped a ton. And I'm continuing to add more and more stuff like that every day. Like, we just got that floor cleaner, and then I started putting casters on all of our tables so we can clear pretty much the entire shop off to the edges and clean the floor and make it look nice. And coupling that with the Freddy too, like, man, my shop's going to be spit spot,
Yeah. We'll eat burritos off the ground next time.
Yeah, there you go. Bill will walk around in socks.
Yeah. What is this, Timney?
Yeah. So thanks, David. That was a great question. I appreciate it. He also said, hopes everyone has a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you do too. Well, guys, maybe we should get to the normal last questions then. Make this a quick one. I know I got to get into the shop, and you've got a train to catch relatively soon.
Yeah,
he's got food. We got
dinner.
Oh, then we definitely got to get to your dinner.
we're good. It's been sorted for us, so that we don't have to worry. But he's fine.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's start then. What have you been researching this week? Either you go right ahead.
Do you or me?
Mine's been pretty easy, which is mostly lately it's just been trains, schedules.
Oh yeah,
and
planes and automobiles.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. It's just been transportation related. Like, today was kind of wonky with the trains. I was like kind of nervous that the train was going to get canceled.
We got you,
but we're here. Yeah.
And we'll get him back. We'll send it back. Don't you worry.
Good.
Yeah.
How are the trains there? Are they fairly on time usually?
I am. Normally, yes. Like, even today where it was like, oh, it's really delayed. It left like 20 minutes late. But it's insane that they're pretty affordable. I don't know what is considered affordable here, but like the train from Paddington to Bristol was like £60.
London Paddington, just in case.
London Paddington. Oh, is there another one?
No, it was just in case someone thought, what the hell? There's a brown bear that likes marmalade sandwiches.
Yeah.
I'm going.
The fucking Marmalade Express over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, from London Paddington it was like 60 pounds. And like getting back was like 30. And then getting up here was like 25 or something.
Oh, wow.
And those are like hour and a half ish, like direct trains. It cost me more in Ubers from the hotel I was staying at in Bristol to the city center, which was like an 18-minute ride. Those were like $30, 30 pounds, like one way. So
He hasn't seen my bill yet.
yeah. Oh, shit.
The most expensive taxi.
Yeah. He's like, how much you got in your wallet? Oh,
Yeah.
no. He saw, I think it was, he's going to get me for everything I'm worth.
He's got to pay for those customs somehow, right?
Yeah. But I think I sent you a video. I love the trains. Like, I'm obsessed. Maybe that's the tism talking or whatever. But the like just busting out the lappy and working in Fusion on a train is like chef's kiss. Best experience ever. I like way into it. I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh no, sorry, audience.
Yeah,
I just took a little drink.
No, it's just I'm way into the trains. I wish, like, it makes me wish that we had a more robust rail system in the U.S. rather than like Amtrak, which
Same.
is like goes to like armpits. No
Right.
offense to people who are on Amtrak routes.
Hey, I'm on an Amtrak route, but
Yeah.
it's all right. Brad and I have actually had a plan, and we've never been able to make it happen. But maybe next IMTS is we've always wanted to close down like 4 or 5 days early for IMTS, and then take the Amtrak all the way out there on like a sleeper car, because it goes
Nice.
to Chicago eventually,
Yeah,
and just as like to experience that. But
that would be a lot of fun.
yeah,
I'm going to have to get you to, there's for you two later, you're going to have to look up this guy, Francois Bourgeois, that just seems to be
I've
taking
seen
over the... Have you seen
of
him?
his videos? Yes, he's so funny.
Is
So-
he the guy that puts the 3D camera and like
Uh-huh.
uses his face? Oh, that's so amazing.
So maybe you could do an American version.
Yes,
Okay.
that would be so
Yeah.
funny.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
He gets, I mean, rightly so, he's very excited by it. So your love of trains, maybe you could, yeah. And with all your traveling, because you're now diamond miles or whatever you get for your flights, you could do the equivalent.
Yeah, that's
Sideline.
true. That's an A330, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
it's really interesting seeing how different countries do trains too. Because like we took a bunch
Yeah.
of trains in Japan when Brad and I were there, and then we also took the Deutsche Bahn in Germany when we were there, and just seeing like how differently the culture is around them, how different they treat them. It's really cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, what
So
have you been researching, Simon?
It's not actually work based. So I've been asking a machinist guy for a bit of help trying to put together a sim rig or driving rig so that it can give my 10-year-old son a bit of arcade kind of driving experience for people out there that can look at Gran Turismo or something like that. But actually, if, say, Zap was into it and he wants a blast, we could still have it as an adult, kind of more realistic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know enough to be able to configure a Fanatec wheel pedals into some sort of frame seat. I'm just trying to make it all work, because some of the websites just, they don't give you enough information to help you. But yeah, I met with someone yesterday actually to further my interest, but it got a bit machinist complicated, and he then started taking into account, well, what size of person and what angle. He was trying to make it too real for F1, and I was like, no, because
Was this Matt?
it was Matt, and,
Yeah.
and I was like, but I don't want to take all your time because it's really expensive. And I was thinking, on some games like Assetto Corsa, you might be in an ice cream truck or something, so you don't want to be sat on your back
Yeah.
like you're
And twisted metal.
yeah. So yeah, that genuinely is on my search history is steering wheels, pedals, seats, and framework. How can I put that together over the next 2 months is the plan.
Yeah. That would be a good fusion project, I would say. I don't know. What do you think, Dylan?
I think so, for sure. That's something that's been on my, far down the list of projects that I've wanted to do is a sim rig. Because there's a few plans online too where they fit inside an ottoman. And so you take off the top of the ottoman and fold out the seat and fold out the driving thing. And so, you can put it away and it doesn't look like a driving rig, because I think my wife would absolutely murder me if I had just like the driving sim rig sitting around. But,
same problem.
Yeah.
That is the same problem I've got. It's like, well, where can we, which is why we haven't done it, but he's showing so much more interest in various games. So you think, I think it's important with a kid. Like the three of us might go to a restaurant and you can just try lots of different foods. It's what switches someone on. So with him, put something under his nose, what's working. And it has been a toy box printer and 3D printing. But then he started to sort of deviate a little bit, which is another conversation that Zap and I are having. But
well, it can be so helpful too, as he, is starting to grow up and get to where he's going to be driving. Like,
you've nailed it.
Yeah.
That is the exact reason I want to do it, is because then you can learn about understeer, oversteer. But then as Matt went off on one last night, which is fine, it's like, well, what brake pedal do you want? Do you want a magnetic so that you just press it and it's a brake pedal? But actually what you want is a force-based one so that you can stamp on the pedal at 200 miles an hour and actually have the real effect. I'm like, yeah, maybe I do, but I don't know if a 10-year-old does. But it's unreal trying to understand how to put these things together. But yeah, if I could have it in an ottoman, that would be brilliant.
Have you seen the video of, it's the 2021 Drift Masters Virtual Championship driver, and he gets to go drive a real drift car. It's a Peter Visik's drift winning car, and he had never been in a real drift car. And within 2 minutes, he's sliding that thing around, and Peter's just letting him do whatever and just sitting passenger is like, let's go. This is great. And it's one of the funniest, coolest videos ever, because he is just within 5 minutes drifting top level drift cars.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, there was a film, I don't know whether it went global, but certainly in this country, it was based off the Gran Turismo franchise of a kid that was from this country, well, Wales, that did particularly well and graduated. So he did do Le Mans in a Nissan GTR,
right?
I think it was. Yeah. So it was fully funded, backed by Nissan, and I think he did quite well.
Yeah, he's professional. I think he's still a professional. No, that might have been too.
I think he had a big accident, but he got he did his dream. He realized his dream, which is mad, because I think the whole thing portrayed the fact that his dad said, you're going to be nothing.
Yeah.
It's probably like me shouting at my son, going, stop persisting with, but I don't think he's going to be he's not going to be a racing driver. That's not the reason I was doing the rig, but
yeah.
Right. No, but just to illustrate that, you can get quite close to reality with these, simulators. And so, yeah, that sounds like a great project for you, fusion wise, and a great father-son bonding thing.
It might be a crayons project. I don't think it'll be a fusion one.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Felt tips.
Nah.
Chris, help.
Yeah. Well, if you can start with crayons, then you have something to go off of that gives you a baseline to start to translate into fusion and make it digital.
Yeah, we can show you how to scan it in and draw right on top of it.
I think I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I know a lot of great guys like yourself and a lot of others where when the hits the fan, I can get out of my rabbit hole with many passes and options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I was researching floor cleaners because that was a big thing. I was tired of mopping and wanted to be lazy again. And so I found, thankfully on Black Friday, they had a killer 20% off and got a little global 13-inch scrubber, and then it was figuring out what other chemicals I could use, because the stuff I bought from Global made me sick to my stomach using it. Like I was getting dizzy and was like, oh, this is gross. It's supposed to be like super, pH neutral and whatever, and it was bad. And so I ended up switching to the Zap cleaner stuff.
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, is that a sideline of yours?
I'm a mogul.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is all a side project for you, consulting.
Yeah. Zap. I got Zap chips and Zap cleaning products.
Have you taken that cleaner home yet?
No.
She hasn't seen it.
She hasn't seen it. She's not gonna see it. It's a shop thing for sure. But no, it was great. Like I couldn't believe how much dirt and stuff it picked up, even from areas that I thought were very clean and that I had mopped. And then you throw down, it's basically like a big Scotch-Brite pad with cleaner that it squirts onto it, and it was night and day different. So
the floor looked insane.
Yeah.
Like there was like epoxy marks and stuff like that, where you're like, what the fuck? Where was that hiding?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like that, I could technically throw a polishing pad on there too and put polishing liquid and, make it real high shine. And I don't think I'm going to do that. Probably. That sounds like a little bit too much work, but even just being able to lightly clean it, and, it's very easy now.
I bet there's some very wealthy ladies that would pay for that sort of, facial.
That's true. I was thinking more like pranking Brad with a banana peel or something.
Just polish it into the floor.
Yeah.
I like it. Well,
do we got new questions?
I'm sorry?
Did you get new questions?
Nothing else has come in yet. I think everybody's
Or I meant
busy.
The poll for new questions to ask at the end.
I had a ton, and so I'm going to throw those up on a poll. Like I had a million people post about which ones I should use, and I'm going to put up a poll on the Patreon, and we're going to decide. I'll probably end up using all of them at some point, but we'll decide what the next 3 are for the next month or two, and then go from there. I'm trying to think what else.
New Patreon tier, $100 a month. Get to ask any question you want.
that would be a slippery slope, I think. Well, guys,
racist?
give me a win from this week that you can share.
A win from this week.
Yeah, my cup runneth over with wins, baby. Successfully training an Amish kid on an NTRX, which is insane. Making it to the UK, having a successful head tattoo, which is sweet, and I look rad as hell now.
Yeah, you do.
And like truly, probably the number one win from this week is this moment right now. This is like such a win. It's so cool.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm flat. So I was going to say this.
Yeah.
Because it's always cool catching up and having a chat. So maybe I'll stick with that.
Yeah. Hey, we can be same.
I'm hoping it'll be the food later.
The food's,
And a win will be making sure I don't miss the train, which we won't.
We won't. Yeah.
You got Chris nervous now.
Yeah.
I will personally drive him to Heathrow Airport, so he'll be fine.
That'd be intense.
We could do that.
I don't know. Should I say it now as well? I don't know. I think this week was like, we are wrapping up the last few orders before we go on break. And so like a big win is going to be able to take 2 weeks off. Like I don't think we've ever done that in the history of the company. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And I guess this will go out like just before Christmas, like the Friday before Christmas. So yeah, I will be leaving work either that Friday or that Saturday and not returning for 2 weeks, at least not in any official capacity.
Yeah.
We're doing the same, but I know that I'm going to be full-time childcare for those 2 weeks. I'm going to be stretching my band to see if I can get it twice as wide to be a very tolerant parent.
I did a 20-mile run this morning. Oh, shit.
Is it snowing there, or is it fairly cold, or you can run and bike and all that stuff?
I know it's good. He's brought us some really nice weather with him. Sun was shining. It's fine.
Yeah, the weather's been fantastic.
What have you got? It's casual, just a hoodie and type thing.
AC pullover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unusual. It's a bit warmer than normal, but no, it's cool.
Okay.
Not cool. Cool good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I know that like this time of year for us is amazing, but in the summer, that's when it's tough for us to stretch our bands at all. You know, the last thing I want to do is go out in 110 and run or bike or anything like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole different game of salt loss and cramp.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like, I'm not even sweating. It's like, so you're dehydrated.
Right.
You're
yeah.
gonna
The sweat is turning immediately to vapor. That's how hot it is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. It was fun to do this last minute, and I'm really glad we can make it work.
Yeah, same.
Thank you. It was great to be part of your normal regular updates. I'm honored.
Really cool.
Yeah. We'll have to, next time you're out there, Chris, we'll do this again and do some more catch up with Simon.
Sure. We'll plan it a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Less rushed, and we'll find a different location to do it from.
Right. This was like, I guess we could get Matt.
We'll be drinking eggnog and mince pies whilst doing the. Yeah.
I need to get Matt on for his own episode too. I want to hear his backstory. But yeah, we could do it, all three of us or all four of us. That'd be fantastic.
Have you done a 4? Have you ever done a 4?
I haven't.
I think I did the round tables a few times that were 4, and
it gets kind of chaotic past 3.
I'd be out because it's just too. It's very Justin. Zap.
Yeah.
Uber.
No. Nonsense.
It'd be fine.
Yeah. You'll just hear the mic go.
Yeah. Where'd he go? He passed out. Oh, no.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks to all the Patreon members who make the show possible. And thank you all for listening. I'll be back next week.